O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Ahurquit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
You know, when you think about the dark night of the soul, it's usually painted as this terrifying tragedy, like this catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
You just have to blindly survive.
Right, yeah, we treat it like a complete breakdown in the system.
Yeah. But what if that dark night is actually like a highly specialized laboratory for your own self-reinvention? Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission for you today is to explore this really dense 1912 occult manuscript by Aleister Crowley called Liber Cadaveris.
Also known as Ritual CXX, or Passing Through the Tuat, which is an amazing title.
It really is. So, okay, let's unpack this. This text basically takes the ancient Egyptian underworld and turns it into this psychological map for radically shedding your old self.
And that idea of radically shedding the old self, I mean, it isn't just a theme in the text. It's actually mirrored in how the text was written in the first place.
Wait, really? How so?
Well, if you look at the original 1912 manuscript from the York collection, Crowley and his mentor, George Cecil Jones, they were basically taking the polite Victorian Christian rituals of the Golden Dawn and just, completely gutting them.
Oh, right. They wanted something with a bit more teeth to it.
Yeah, much more teeth. They replaced that whole old framework with a really stark Egyptian motif.
So instead of a formula based on, like, suffering and resurrection,
Yeah.
They pivoted?
Exactly. They pivoted to what they called a Horian formula, meaning it was centered on eternal growth and active conquest.
Interesting. So to reach the Zelator grade, which is essentially that first major milestone of initiation, the candidate has to do what they call forge the magic sword.
Right. And the sword isn't a literal weapon here.
Right. It represents the analytical mind, right? Like the ability to cut through illusion.
Spot on. And to forge that sword, the aspirant has to confront their own corpse.
Wow. Their own corpse.
Yeah. But in this context, the corpse is made up of all the outdated, useless fragments of their own personality.
I actually love that visual. It really reminds me of modern software debugging.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, because, if you want your computer to run efficiently, you have to go into the system, isolate the corrupted, bloated code, which is basically your ego's corpse, and delete it.
You have to destroy that old code.
Right. So the core program, which the text calls the hidden sun of your true will, can finally run smoothly.
Exactly. But to finish deleting that corrupted code, the system has to undergo a severe shock.
And this is where the IAO formula comes in, right? Isis, Apophis, and Osiris.
You got it. Isis represents natural growth. Osiris is rebirth. But that middle phase, Apophis, well, that's the destroyer.
And Rituals CXX is entirely about this Apophis phase.
Yes. The idea is you have to actively incorporate destruction and decay to actually master change.
Because you can't just build on top of a shaky foundation. You have to tear it down first.
Exactly. And they took that tearing down incredibly seriously. I mean, the physical preparation is how the candidate actually enters this psychological underworld, the Tuat.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that preparation because it is intense.
It really is. The candidate spends 3 days and nights in a symbolic tomb.
3 days.
Wow. And during that vigil, sleep is capped at a maximum of 3 hours at a time.
That sounds exhausting.
Oh, it gets harder. Their diet is strictly limited to water, sweet cakes, fruit, and duck or goose eggs.
Which are foods specifically chosen for their ties to Egyptian symbolism of the afterlife, right?
Correct. And then the whole thing culminates in a brutal 12-hour period of total fasting. No food, no sleep at all.
Okay, wait, hold on. Here's where it gets really interesting. But, 3 hours of sleep and a near starvation diet. Isn't that just a recipe for severe hallucinations?
It sounds like it, sure.
Yeah. Like, how do we know they're achieving some higher astral control and not just suffering from clinical delirium?
Well, the text suggests the physical toll isn't an accident. It's actually the required mechanism.
Oh, so it's a feature, not a bug?
Exactly. By limiting sleep and withholding food, the ritual intentionally blurs the boundaries between the waking state and the dreaming state.
So they're aiming for that weird in-between zone.
Right. They are trying to reach what the text calls marginal consciousness.
I see. So the goal isn't to hallucinate, but to sort of pry open the gates of the subconscious.
Yes, so that the symbolic underworld can be experienced directly as a tangible psychological reality.
Okay, so taking a step back, what does this all mean for you listening to this right now?
I think ultimately Crowley's philosophy, known as Thelema, completely reframes how we look at death and ego dissolution.
Yeah, it takes the end of the self and changes it from this sorrowful, tragic event into an experience of, like, cosmic love and ecstasy.
Right. It's about not being a victim of life's inevitable destructive phases, but mastering them.
You step into the laboratory willingly.
Exactly. You use the sword of your analytical mind to prune away everything that is irrelevant to your core drive, your true will.
Because the whole ritual is just about leaving behind the false layers of the self. So we'll leave you with this. If you were forced to walk through the Tua today,
Stepping into that dark night laboratory to strip away every single earthly attachment.
what specific core part of your identity would actually survive the fire?